A sleek silver spacecraft descended through Earth's atmosphere, its polished exterior reflecting the sunlight. Inside, a group of alien students from the planet Zephyria peered out of the windows with wide, curious eyes. Zephyrians were known for their peaceful nature and lush, serene landscapes, so Earth's vibrant and chaotic beauty was both thrilling and bewildering. Leading the group was Zylara, a bright and inquisitive student eager to learn about Earth. She turned to her fellow students, her antennae twitching with excitement. "This is it, everyone! Our first step onto a Deathworld. Let's see if the stories are true." The spaceship landed smoothly, and the students were greeted by their human host, Professor James. He was a tall, kindly man with a warm smile, whose enthusiasm for Earth's biodiversity was contagious. "Welcome to Earth!" he exclaimed. "I'm thrilled to show you around. There's so much to see and learn." As they disembarked, the aliens marveled at the dense forests, towering mountains, and vast oceans. "It's beautiful," Zylara said, her eyes wide. "But why do they call it a death world?" Professor James chuckled. "You'll find out soon enough. Let's start with a tour of the local flora and fauna." The group set off on a guided walk through a nearby forest. Zylara was captivated by the vibrant flowers, the chirping birds, and the rustling leaves. However, as they ventured deeper, they began to notice the darker side of Earth's wildlife. "Watch your step," Professor James warned, pointing out a coiled snake blending in with the underbrush. "That's a venomous viper. One bite can be lethal." The students recoiled in shock. "Why would anyone live here with such dangers?" one of them, Raleth, asked. "Humans have adapted over millennia," Professor James explained. "We've learned to respect and coexist with nature's threats. It's part of what makes us resilient." As they continued, they encountered more of Earth's hazards. A hive of aggressive wasps, a patch of stinging nettles, and the sudden approach of a thunderstorm. Each encounter added to the Zephyrians' growing understanding of why Earth was deemed a death world. By the end of the day, the students were both awed and cautious. Zylara recorded their experiences on her datapad, reflecting on the stark contrasts they'd witnessed. "Earth is stunning but perilous," she noted. "There's a beauty in its danger that demands respect." As they returned to their base for the night, Professor James smiled at the group. "Today was just the beginning. Tomorrow we'll explore more and perhaps get a deeper sense of the resilience required to thrive here." Zylara nodded, her excitement tempered with a new sense of caution. Earth was indeed a world of extremes, and she was determined to learn all it had to offer. The adventure had just begun. The next morning, the alien students woke up to the sounds of unfamiliar birds singing and the fresh, earthy scent of the forest. They were eager to continue their exploration, but the previous day's encounters had left them more vigilant. Professor James greeted them with a hearty breakfast and a plan for the day. "Today, we'll venture deeper into the wilderness. We'll see more of Earth's unique ecosystems and the creatures that inhabit them. Stay close and stay alert." Their first stop was a dense jungle. The air was humid, and the canopy above filtered the sunlight into a mosaic of shadows and light. As they walked, the students admired the vibrant foliage and exotic flowers. Zylara was particularly fascinated by the towering trees and their interwoven branches. Suddenly, a loud rustling caught their attention. Professor James motioned for them to stay still. "Look there," he whispered, pointing to a large spider weaving its web. "That's a tarantula. Harmless to humans, but quite intimidating." The students watched in awe as the spider moved with precision. Raleth shuddered. "It's fascinating, but I wouldn't want to get too close." As they continued, they encountered a myriad of creatures. Brightly colored frogs with toxic skin, swift lizards darting across the path, and flocks of birds with dazzling plumage. Each new discovery was a blend of beauty and danger, reinforcing Earth's reputation. The jungle gave way to a savanna, where the landscape opened up to vast grasslands. Here, they saw herds of animals grazing peacefully, but they also witnessed the predatory prowess of lions stalking their prey. The circle of life was on full display, raw and unfiltered. During a break, Zylara took the opportunity to ask Professor James about human survival strategies. How do humans cope with so many threats? "Humans have developed tools and technologies over time," he explained. "We build shelters, create medicines, and develop strategies to mitigate risks. But more importantly, we've learned to work together, leveraging our collective strengths. Their journey continued into a mountainous region, where the terrain became rugged and the weather unpredictable. One moment, the sun was shining, and the next, dark clouds rolled in, bringing a sudden downpour. The students struggled to navigate the slippery rocks and steep paths. "This is where it gets tricky," Professor James said, helping Zylara over a large boulder. "Mountains are beautiful but can be treacherous. Always be prepared for rapid changes in weather." The storm passed as quickly as it had arrived, leaving the air crisp and cool. As they reached a high vantage point, the students gazed out over the stunning landscape. The challenges they faced seemed distant compared to the breathtaking view. By the end of the day, the students were exhausted but exhilarated. They had a newfound respect for Earth's inhabitants, both human and animal. The planet's dangers were undeniable, but so was its resilience and adaptability. Zylara recorded her thoughts. Earth's ecosystems are a testament to the balance of life. Every danger serves a purpose, and every creature has a role. Survival here requires respect, knowledge, and cooperation. As they settled in for the night, Professor James smiled at the group. "You're beginning to see the bigger picture. Tomorrow we'll delve into how humans have thrived despite these challenges." The students nodded, their minds buzzing with the day's experiences. They were beginning to understand the true essence of Earth, a place where life thrived in the face of adversity, a world that demanded respect and inspired awe. The third day dawned bright and clear, and the students felt a renewed sense of determination. After breakfast, Professor James gathered them for a briefing. "Today we're going to explore human resilience. We'll see how humans not only survive but thrive in this environment." Their first destination was a coastal town known for its fishing and water sports. The students watched in amazement as surfers rode towering waves and fishermen navigated the choppy waters with practiced ease. The sea, both beautiful and formidable, was a vital part of the community's life. Zylara approached a seasoned fisherman named Tom. "How do you manage with the sea's unpredictability?" she asked. Tom chuckled, his weathered face crinkling into a smile. "It's all about respect and preparation. The sea can be a friend or a foe, depending on how you treat it. We've learned to read the signs and adapt." Next, they visited a mountain village that frequently dealt with landslides and avalanches. The students saw how the villagers had built their homes on stilts and used early warning systems to stay safe. The resilience and ingenuity were evident in every structure. The students met an elderly woman named Maria, who had lived through several natural disasters. "It's a harsh place, but it's home," she said, her eyes gleaming with pride. "We stick together, help each other out, and rebuild stronger every time." In the afternoon, they traveled to a city that had recently recovered from a devastating earthquake. The students were amazed at how quickly life had returned to normal. Buildings were being reconstructed with improved designs, and community centers offered support to those affected. Zylara interviewed a young architect named Leo, who was leading some of the rebuilding efforts. "How do you stay motivated in the face of such destruction?" she asked. Leo smiled. "It's about looking forward, not back. Every challenge is an opportunity to improve. We build better, smarter, and more sustainably. The human spirit is resilient. We don't give up." Their final stop was a rural area where farmers had developed innovative methods to combat drought and soil erosion. The students saw how sustainable farming practices and modern technology were transforming once barren lands into fertile fields. Zylara was particularly impressed by a young farmer named Annika, who used drones to monitor crops and manage water resources efficiently. "You seem to have embraced both tradition and technology," Zylara noted. Annika nodded. "That's the key to resilience, adapting and evolving. We honor our heritage but also embrace new solutions. It's a delicate balance, but it's necessary for survival." As the sun began to set, the students returned to their base. They were exhausted but deeply inspired by the human stories of resilience and adaptability. Earth's inhabitants faced formidable challenges but had developed remarkable ways to overcome them. Zylara summarized her thoughts. "Humans have a unique ability to turn adversity into strength. Their resilience is not just about survival, but thriving and progressing in the face of challenges. Earth's dangers are real, but so is the ingenuity and spirit of its people. Professor James gathered the group for a final reflection. You've seen how humans live with the dangers of Earth and use them as opportunities for growth. Tomorrow, we'll face our own challenge. It will be a true test of what you've learned. The students exchanged nervous glances, but were determined. They had come to understand the essence of Earth and its inhabitants, and now they were ready to put their knowledge to the test. The final day of their journey began with an air of anticipation. The students had grown accustomed to Earth's unpredictability, but today promised a new level of challenge. Professor James gathered them for their briefing. Today, we'll be hiking up to an active volcanic area, he said, his tone serious. It's a real test of our resilience and adaptability. We need to be prepared for anything. Equipped with survival gear and guided by local experts, the group set off towards the volcano. The terrain was rugged, with jagged rocks and steep inclines. The air grew hotter as they approached, and the ground beneath their feet seemed to vibrate with the power of the earth. Zilara led the way, her resolve strengthening with each step. Stay close and stay alert, she reminded her peers. We've learned a lot, and now it's time to put it into practice. As they climbed, the ground suddenly shook violently, a minor tremor, a reminder of the volcano's volatile nature. The students steadied themselves, hearts pounding. Professor James instructed them to proceed with caution, their senses heightened to any changes in the environment. Midway through their ascent, the sky darkened, and a thick plume of smoke began to rise from the volcano's summit. The group quickened their pace, knowing they needed to reach a safer vantage point. The air grew acrid with the smell of sulfur, and visibility was reduced. Keep moving, Professor James urged, guiding them through a narrow path. We're almost there. They reached a plateau where they could assess the situation. The volcano rumbled ominously, and it was clear that an eruption was imminent. The local guide suggested they take shelter in a nearby cave that was used for such emergencies. As they hurried to the cave, a series of loud explosions echoed through the air, and molten lava began to flow down the slopes. The students' earlier lessons about human resilience and cooperation came into sharp focus. They moved quickly but carefully, helping each other over obstacles and ensuring no one was left behind. Inside the cave, they found temporary refuge. The walls trembled with the force of the eruption outside, but they were safe for the moment. Zilara took a deep breath, her mind racing with the enormity of what they were experiencing. "Is everyone okay?" she asked, her voice steady despite the chaos outside. "We're fine," Raleth replied, his face pale but determined. "What do we do now?" Professor James looked around, assessing their situation. "We wait for the initial eruption to subside, then we'll make our way down when it's safe. Remember, stay calm and stick together." Hours passed, and the intensity of the eruption gradually lessened. The students remained vigilant, ready to move at a moment's notice. Finally, the tremors weakened, and the flow of lava slowed. "Now's our chance," Professor James said. "Let's head down carefully." The descent was treacherous, but the group navigated it with the skills and knowledge they had gained. They reached the base safely, where emergency responders were waiting to assist. The students were exhausted but exhilarated by their ordeal. Back at their base, they gathered for a final reflection. Zilara spoke first, her voice filled with pride and newfound understanding. "We faced one of Earth's greatest dangers today and came through it together. This planet's beauty and peril are intertwined, and it demands respect and resilience from those who live here." Professor James nodded. "You've all shown incredible strength and adaptability. You now understand why Earth is called a Deathworld, but also why it's a place of incredible growth and resilience." As they prepared to leave Earth, the alien students felt a deep connection to the planet and its people. They had learned that Earth's dangers were real, but so were the courage and ingenuity required to thrive here. They departed with a newfound respect for the Deathworld and the remarkable beings who called it home.